Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book Universe, The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 54.LR. It's the last remains, and this is the last of the last remains. Well, second from last of the last remains. The penultimate last of the last. This is so dumb. Anyway, I enjoyed this book. I really did. But there was a part at the end where it completely disqualified a cool moment for me. And you're going to have a whole lot of internet randos who are going to complain no matter what happens. But maybe hear me out on this one. Let's get talking about this. This issue is called Fallen Order, Part 5. Nick Spencer and Matthew Rosenberg are the writers, and the artists are Federico Vincentini and Takeshi Miyazawa. They're also the inkers on here with Scott Hanna, Eric Arciniega on colors, VC's Ariana Maher on letters, Marcelio Ferreira and David Curiel doing the cover art, couple variant covers. Stan Lee created Steve Ditko. You know what? I'm just going to leave it there. That was such a dumb statement. Such a dumb like, wow, did I really say that? Anyway, Stan Lee created Spider-Man with Steve Ditko. So we get the first 4 pages in here are actually old school late 80s art, early 90s art, where suddenly they started doing colors by computer, which was interesting, and then they just went full balls to the wall with it. It's also one of the times that we stopped reading comic books in plethora, pretty much. I enjoyed this. I love that they had that scene in the beginning because it really helped to define who Mary Jane is, also who Harry is, but a lot of who Mary Jane is also, and the idea that she is willing to go to the ends of the earth or the top of the Brooklyn Bridge, whatever's closest, in order to help her friends. Just make sure you give her a ride home because, yeah, this was interesting. I like that they did that, and it segued pretty perfectly into the conversation that she is having right now with Norman Osborn, Harry's dad. There's a lot of subterfuge, a lot of debauchery, a lot of flat out freaking lies happening right now, some deceit and misdirection. I am so here for it. At the end, no spoilers, there was a flash of purple, and I really thought it was going to be Kindred, and it turns out it was no spoilers. But you can insert spoiler there. And I do wish, I don't know if Eric Arciniega screwed up on the colors or whatnot, but I really do wish that the scarf was purple just to give me an idea of why I saw purple. Or was that there to indicate that this is all being sanctioned by Kindred? Because it is certainly a possibility. Pete was in this book, but he was just really crying, and so he didn't have any lines. This isn't his book. It says Amazing Spider-Man, but it's The Last Remains, so it's actually about the other Spider characters. They, for the most part, didn't have too much to do in this, however, and it wasn't until Madam Web goes up and essentially sacrifices herself, but, not really, because she has an idea. This really, with us being so close, I'm going to leave that in there, so close to the Dune movie coming out. God, I love a warrior prophet. You know what I'm saying? I love a fighting precog. It's just one of the most interesting concepts to me. You know what's about to happen, or at least you have a good idea. You might misinterpret things, but you still got to go in there and put up your dukes anyway, right? And that happens in here, and I love it. And here's where things go a little awry-ish, because there's a suicide in here, and basically somebody cravens himself. I think that was done with a hunting rifle. This was a little bit different, but for the most part, he cravens himself, right? He puts a gun under his, chin and just pulls the trigger, and boom! And I'm like, wow, really bold by Marvel in this age of outrage culture where everybody's got an issue with everything. And then Nick Lowe comes along. Nick Lowe, I'm imagining, mind you, I'm going to preface this by saying that I believe this was just for damage control purposes. You know what I'm saying? Which it's like, just in case somebody's got a problem, let me just put this out there. I'm not here to insult what he said. I like that he put the suicide prevention hotline on there. That was, it was pretty good. Like, he decided to pepper it a little bit more, and it's like you could, I don't know. I'm not positive, but I mean, sometimes people say things that it's like, dude, have you ever actually dealt with suicide? Have you ever, are you a suicidal person? Mind you, that's not something that necessarily goes away. It just comes in waves and goes in just as emotional a wave. You know what I'm saying? Um, for for someone to just say something like it's never the solution, it feels like someone who doesn't actually have an answer and isn't a counselor and has never actually gone through this before. That last bit, I'm not that the last part about he's never gone through this before. I'm not positive on that. It could just be a extra heavy dose of the prior two, but it seems to me that he just really doesn't know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? So, eh, I know that it's a touchy subject. At the end of the day, though, I can assure you there is no one who has suicidal thoughts who even so much as hears a song and says, you know what? This is the thing that's going to cause me to do it. I don't even care if it's a Judas Priest or Ozzy Osbourne song. It's not true. It's simply not true. So surely a comic book and songs are designed to get to our emotions. This soundless, bundle of papers, this comic book is not going to trigger anybody to say, oh, Sin Eater did it. He was the real hero here. So you know what? No, that's not what's going to happen. I don't think that there's any need to do anything except say, hey, there's a moment of where suicide is brought up and actually enacted in here, and even though it's in the shadows, it is a real thing. I'm simply going to put this, the following number down here, suicide prevention hotline, and there's the number. You know what I'm saying? And take care, everybody. Just something as simple as that, I think, would have been a lot smarter. Having a conversation about it and acting like you're gonna like. Thank God I read Nick Lowe's piece because my emotions were really on a super drop at this moment, and I did start to have these thoughts because I don't have the same impulse control that someone else might have. Yeah, no, that's never going to happen. There's not going to be one single case where Nick Lowe in this comic book saved my life. Just it doesn't. So come on, man. That being said, yeah, suicide prevention hotline. You know what I'm saying? Like, just yeah, it is what it is. It's stuff that comes and goes in waves, and you simply have to remember that it does come in waves. And just as the first wave comes, there's the ebb and there's the flow, and eventually you're gonna get the other. It's all going to kind of go away, and you just have to get to that point. That's all it is. Don't make any decisions while you're in the low. That's probably the most sound advice that I could possibly give, that I have given, that I've gotten. You know what I'm saying? So consider that. Aside from that, guys, pretty damn good comic book. I love the idea of the fighting precog. It's a great concept here, and I wonder if it wouldn't be a good solo comic book. Uh, I'm saying the new Madam Web, like go, let's do that. I mean, Spider Sense, all it really is a form of Danger Sense prediction stuff, right? So why not? Why not? Anyway, guys, I am out of here. I will talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Like the video, watch an ad. Comic Book University, class dismissed.